welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class, the first edition of Detective June. I'm your host for today, Tyler.
I'm Joseph.
And I'm Peter.
And we are going to be reviewing our first detective movie for this month, Chinatown. Oh, yeah.
In Chinatown.
What were you doing there?
Working for the district attorney.
Doing what?
As little as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an edit. Yeah.
As little as possible. What's that?
The hell you say to me? I assume that's
it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, what better way to start off Detective June than with the all-time classic Chinatown, starring Jack Nicholson and some other people.
The rest.
For anyone who doesn't know, Chinatown's directed by someone who I look up to, Roman Polanski.
The late great Roman Polanski.
It's about this movie is about a private detective hired to expose an adulterer in 1930s Los Angeles finds himself caught up in a web of deceit, corruption, and murder.
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 What about the murders? What murders?
Yeah. So I chose detective movies because I think that I like the idea of detective movies. I like especially the sort of noir style of those kinds of movies, and I like a good mystery movie as well.
Yeah.
And I think, well, we'll get into Chinatown. But anyways, that's why I chose it. And plus, I didn't really know what to choose when we were doing this anyway. So like,
whatever.
I mean, well, I was on a True Detective high, and so I was like, detective.
Besides True Detective, what other like great detective movies do you like? Because you haven't seen Chinatown before, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Or is it like Joseph, where he didn't particularly care for or know spaghetti westerns?
Well, I mean, I've seen the Batman for one.
Okay.
All the Batman movies.
Something before 2020.
Well, yeah, all the Batman movies. Yeah, they're detective movies. 7 is a good one.
Okay, yeah.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner 2049.
Well, the original.
And the
I
original
guess the new one, yeah.
I think I like the sequel more than the original. I gotta be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one is a lot better.
Correct.
To a lesser extent, Sicario in a way is kind of
it's a crime thriller. It's not really a detective.
I guess that's true.
It's a detective movie if the main character is the detective, right?
And they're working on a specific case. I think
Yeah.
maybe it's a detective movie.
I guess
in
She's
your
not a detective,
criteria.
though.
That's why I said it's like to
She's a
certain.
special agent,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's right.
narcotics officer.
Red Dragon. That's a good one.
Okay.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. Silence of the Lambs. I just like a good mystery, and Chinatown I had not seen before, but I know the music of it. I know it's iconic. I've listened to the music, however, I have not watched the movie.
Oh, okay.
So
You've listened to the Chinatown music, like the soundtrack?
yeah.
Why?
Right.
Just in the car?
Yeah. Yeah. Like when I would be delivering, and it would be like at nighttime, I just throw on the.
Oh, okay, yeah. That song.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
My favorite song from the soundtrack.
Yeah. It's just, so yeah. I mean, so anyways, let's just go around the table for our initial thoughts. Joseph, was this your first time watching Chinatown, and did you like it?
Okay. Yes, it was my first time watching Chinatown. I've known of Chinatown for a very long time. I've seen it referenced a lot in other things. Most notably, forget about it. It's Chinatown.
Yeah, forget about Jake's Chinatown.
It's that quote has been used differently in other things that I've watched, and that's the only thing I know about it. And the sliced nose,
Yep.
the bandaged face look of Jack Nicholson's character.
Nosy little kitty cat.
And that's really all I knew about it. I didn't really know anything else. What it was about, why they sliced his nose,
Yeah.
why he had to forget about it because it was Chinatown. So that I didn't know it was a detective movie at all until I guess more in the last couple of years that I've learned more about it, but didn't watch it until this weekend. And yes, I did like it. I liked it quite a bit. I thought the mystery was really good. The setting of L.A., the whole water controversy and where it's going, and if it's like corruption of someone just wanting to make more money, right? It's always money based with these people.
Always.
And then that being unraveled, and then another aspect of a character of Faye Dunaway's character being revealed much later in the movie. And I thought that's I guess like subplot of that character, or those characters, was really interesting that Roman Polanski included that, and they made him a villain, even though
Which subplot?
the dad and the daughter.
Oh, yeah.
That was.
I was like, when Polanski made this movie, and he portrayed him as not a good guy.
To be fair, he was just the director. He didn't write it. The story was written in whole cloth by who's the writer? Robert Town.
Was interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't know the timeline of events, of real life events versus when this movie was made. I just thought that was an interesting parallel to to include. And
Yes.
But he's a bad guy though.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, yeah, this guy's a bad guy.
Yeah.
But I'm not a bad guy.
Oh, I see.
But the movie itself was like, the story was really good, and I liked this sort of the noir aspect of it without it being like a traditional noir, even though it was made in
1974.
74, yeah.
74. It felt like an accessible noir movie.
Yeah.
Like before you would get into like Double Indemnity or something like that.
Maltese Falcon.
Like before diving deep into those movies, you could watch this movie as like a gateway, I think, because it's a little bit more, it's not as stark as if you're not used to watching black and white movies that have like that really hard contrast.
And the transatlantic accent everybody's got.
Hey, see?
Yeah. This is like a good, like, I feel like happy medium of modern filmmaking and noir filmmaking.
That's a good way to put it.
And there's a lot of really great shots in this movie, really great looking scenes and compositions. And I can't really find anything negative to say about it. I really enjoyed it. I did really like the mystery and the way it was edited and the reveals of everything and the way it was paced, and the sort of bleakness ending.
Yeah.
Where it didn't get solved, really.
No.
No.
And you just got cops being cops and just fucking shooting someone running away.
Yeah.
Driving away.
He could have easily shot the girl too, the young girl.
I know.
Like how her whole freaking head was blown open, like the eye. Through the eye.
Yeah.
Like, God damn.
Yeah. But I mean,
guns will do that.
and even like that was like sort of anticlimactic, but at the same time very dramatic. Because it kind of comes out of nowhere. You don't expect something like that to happen in the story, because you're getting all this information, all these answers are coming out, and like all the answers you're getting, and then all of a sudden it was all for nothing now.
Well, plus the grandpa was shot, so you kind of assumed he was going to die, but he just takes in the shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like he was more annoyed that he got shot.
Yeah.
He was like, cramp. But yeah, I really liked it.
Cool. Pete, I'm sure this is not your first time watching this movie.
No, not. I was surprised I didn't own it on physical media because I really love this movie. And just for reference, Joseph, 1977, 3 years later after the release was when the alleged rape happened.
Oh.
Yeah.
Happened or was reported?
The alleged rape would have happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know when the report happened or whatever. I think it's the same year, actually. Yeah, grand jury indicted Polanski on 6 felony charges, including rape, furnishing a controlled substance to a minor, and sodomy. Ooh.
Nice.
Shut the fuck up, Tyler. All right, Chinatown. This is what I think of when I think of like a modern, quote unquote, modern detective movie. Even though it's 74, it feels like it could have been made today with a throwback feel. And it's like it took a very I think difficult to approach genre like the classic noir with the black and white and the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the narrator speaking over about what's happening and all that kind of stuff. And just over dramatic acting and very clear heroes and villain stories that are of a lot of the stuff from that like 30s to 50s era, and updated it for something that is really, really enjoyable to watch and just exciting too. Yeah. Like I forgot every time it's probably been about 6 or 7 years since I watched this last, and I always forget how many times he's like on the edge of death. He's almost dead. Like he could have killed him at the reservoir instead of slicing his nose. When he's at the rest home, they could have easily killed him right then. And she fucking comes out with the convertible and hops on the running board. And just, whoop! And it's like so many times he's like really is in mortal peril. Yeah. And I appreciated that because it makes for an exciting movie. And at the same time, as you're watching it, you're like, there's the weird brooch that fell into the pond, and he sees that at the very beginning, the first act. Yeah. And then he sees it in the end, and it adds more to the story, and it kind of blows more open. So it's really well written in that regard because
withholding information.
Yeah.
Until later, till the throwaway line, guys like, salt water, bad for grass.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, what's salt water?
What did you say?
Hold on a second. Yeah. But it's fantastically written, fantastically acted. Everybody's doing their best. I think that Faye Dunaway is a holdout from like that era, and she's definitely giving a classic Hollywood performance. It's like over the top and maybe too much.
She's got that transatlantic still stuff.
She does, yeah. But she really feels like somebody who's broken, and you can see the nervousness in her, and the constant changing of the story, and she really embodies that character very well, even if it is a little over the top for what you would expect on a more modern style movie. Because John Huston, the big bad, not hamming it up crazily. Yeah, he's just matter of fact that guy. Yeah, and
the dad, right?
Yeah, the grandpa dad.
Grandpa dad.
And then of course Detective Gittes, just the fucking coolest. Yeah. He's so cool. Except for that part where he's telling that stupid joke and they're trying to tell him not to. Yeah. And you're like, for one, not a very funny joke. For two, your guys are telling you to shut the fuck up. You know, for a reason. Most of the time they'll just placate you because you're the boss. So if they're telling you to shut up, there's probably a good reason for that. Yeah. I think that was the one time he felt out of character, written out of character.
Yeah, it's kind of in the beginning too.
Yeah. Yep. But anyways, I all in all, this is just a phenomenal movie. This is one of my favorites. I freaking love this movie. Yeah. And it is a damn shame that Roman Polanski's name is attached to it.
Yeah, it is.
It's a damn shame that he fucking did that.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. More specifically,
I just don't understand.
I don't know if he was ever actually convicted of it.
No, because he fled the country like a little bitch.
Yeah, which is probably
not a good sign.
Not a good sign. Yeah, exactly.
He clearly knew he was innocent. He knew he was gonna get charged with these horrific, heinous crimes, and he's like, "Well, I can just go to what was it, France that you went to?
That he went to Switzerland.
I think it was Switzerland too. It's been around.
Yeah, so anywhere where there's not like an extradition.
You said he clearly knew that he was innocent.
No, they would know you're twisting my words. I said,
whoa.
He clearly knew he wasn't innocent. And I mean, like him, like fleeing the country was just like kind of like everyone's like, oh yeah, so he actually did it. Like instead of like, facing the trial, like he was like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna win this trial. I gotta skip town. And yeah, I mean, it really stinks.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. Continue my initial thoughts.
Please go ahead.
It really stinks, yeah, that he was His name was solely like that, right? Your hero.
Your words, not mine.
Tyler doesn't take his shirt off very often because he's got that full back piece of Polanski. It's like the Virgin Mary, but it's Polanski. He's got a champagne glass and a sedative in it, holding it.
Yeah.
Anyways. So yeah, just a delightful movie, start to finish. Still to this day, I referenced on this show a couple of times when we talk about people doing cool tactics on how to.
Yes,
like running over the
that
the
was
watch.
the other thing I really loved about it.
Ah, so cool.
That was cool.
The kicking of the taillight was, and it seemed like that had a lot of point to it, but
I think it was probably
cool in theory.
Yeah, I think it's just a little harder to tail people back then, and like your headlights are not really very. If you've ever driven a car from the 1940s or 50s, they don't work that well. Mm-hmm. So at night, trying to tail somebody, if that gets too far away from you and you just got two red taillights, but one of them is white, that's the one you're following. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, so there's some really cool like chicanery going on, with JJ Gittes.
I like that. I like the innovation.
Yeah, the little
intuitiveness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
of it.
Very, very clever. So, anyways, I'm just a delight. Still 5-star movie. Still
nice.
Spoiler alert.
Nice. Yeah. First time I'm watching it, like I said at the top of the show, I listened to the music because the music is really iconic. It's really moody for, if you're like driving in the rain or in the dark, it makes you feel like you're in a movie. And yeah, I agree with both of you. Like, I think like the cleverness of Jake was very well done. The actress, what was her name again?
Faye Dunaway.
I agree with that. She was like, kind of carrying over like the old Hollywood acting into a modern filmmaking. And I thought that as well. But what I thought was that she's overacting because, she's deeply troubled and she comes from a family of wealth. And so she's just being dramatic because that's just who she is as a person. Like, she's not grounded in reality. So I thought that like maybe it was kind of like a representative of like just her being like just this broken, over dramatic person. I thought the overall case in this movie was unique. It wasn't just like, like a murder mystery or something like that. It was definitely another like grounded in reality situation where I could see this happening in like a modern movie and still like being successful.
Well, also it's when you have like this guy wants to kill that person, the scale is very small. Mm-hmm. This activity shaped the entire landscape of like the San Fernando Valley and Los Angeles as a whole.
Yeah. And I think when he gets his nose cut, that was, he, like you said, Pete, like he was in mortal danger throughout the whole movie. And there was this one line he says, like, he's like, I'm not a cop. Like, he was talking to the girl. And he's like, just tell me I'm not a cop. And kind of puts it in perspective. Like he'll solve this case by any means necessary. Whereas like a cop on the books, at least, have to follow rules. Whereas he's a PI and he doesn't. And the pacing of this movie just felt fine. I didn't find myself like getting bored at any point in the movie. It's not to say that it's like constant action, but it's always there's not a boring scene. Like everything I found that all of the whole movie was like I couldn't keep my eyes off of it. I really loved it, and I think we are all in agreement that we all give this a high grade. So let's get into Chinatown.
We already got into it. You know that the real Chinatown was demolished in Los Angeles right before this film was set.
Really?
It's set in 1937.
Yeah.
And the original Chinatown was demolished. Let me see if I could find the actual
I kept like getting confused on when, like, I know it was pre-war,
37.
but I was getting confused on, like, personally, I was getting confused, like, when it was actually supposed to be set, because it felt like it was supposed to take place in the 60s, but then I would see the cars and I'd be like, no.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That I didn't. Yeah, I was under that same impression as well. That it seemed like
The modernness of the filmmaking clashed with the setting of
Yeah.
the...
Yeah,
But,
I think some of the dialogue helped with that too. There was some of the dialogue didn't feel like 1930s dialogue.
yeah,
Mhm.
because I'm also expecting sort of that transatlantic sort of
yeah.
feel to it, but this is also in LA. That also, like, the proximity of it also, it felt a lot closer to me than like a movie like Double Indemnity or Maltese Falcon
Yeah,
or
yeah.
anything like that. Yeah.
So the original Chinatown in Los Angeles was demolished between 1933 and 1936 to make way for Union Station. The current Chinatown that's there now, was located a few blocks away, was opened in 1938. So the only time that LA had no official Chinatown was actually in 37, the year the film was set. Surprisingly.
Wow.
lot of hatred on the set, a lot of fighting on the set.
Really?
Roman Polanski fought with Jack Nicholson. He's a famous Los Angeles Lakers fan, right? Everybody knows he's
yeah.
a Lakers fan. He had a portable TV on set, and he would just be watching the game and delaying shoots and stuff. Polanski smashed his TV with a mop.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and also
Get on set right now.
and also Faye Dunaway and Polanski would argue a lot on set. And during one of the arguments, Polanski pulled out some of Faye Dunaway's hair.
Oh my God.
And then she basically said, I need to know what my motivation is. What's my character motivation? And he says, just say the fucking words, your salary is your motivation. It's quoted.
That's such an asshole move.
I know.
Jesus Christ. That's like a fucking.
It's a weird direction.
That's like Alec Baldwin's character in that one movie where he plays the business.
Glenn Ross.
Yeah. God damn.
Get him to sign on the line that is dotted.
I drove a BMW to work today. You drove a Hyundai.
That's my fucking name.
Yeah.
So there's also that line that's in the fan edit that we saw instead of the trailer today. That's what do you do in Chinatown? As little as possible. That was based on a real life conversation between Robert Towne, the writer, and a vice cop who used to work in Chinatown. The cop was explaining to him that due to the complicated use of dialects and multiple gangs acting in Chinatown and LA, the police were uncertain whether their own actions were actually helping the crime victims or assisting gangs in exploiting the victims. So they just basically said, we're going to stay out of the way.
Yeah.
Just try to keep the chaos to a minimum.
Yeah. I thought it was really interesting that Jack Nicholson's character was a former cop, but he still had a lot of pull with the police. Like
This is the best detective. That's a common trope in detective movies too.
yeah.
Is they were on the force, something happened, maybe something tragic, and then now they went into the PI, the private dick business.
It's like spaghetti westerns with a man out for revenge.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's a common trope with that detective being a PI or detective turned PI. Man, there's been times where like I really wanted to be a PI because of my affinity for like detective work.
For
Your
stalking.
your affinity for it?
Yeah,
You mean you're good at it or you like it?
I like it.
Okay, good.
But the
That's
thing-
not what affinity means.
But I have a average to below average intelligence. So I've reconciled that with myself, and I like the idea of it. So I'm thinking maybe I should just, like find like an audition in like a movie or a play to play a detective instead of actually doing the work.
Or you could be I'll just pretend to be one instead of just actually doing
Exactly.
it. Or you could be like the kid detective. You could just solve people's like, who stole my bike?
You know
Yeah,
what?
start small.
And then I dress like with like in a fedora and like, like all the like the 30s garb and like just go door to door. And it's like, are you missing a cat here? See?
Here, see.
Yeah.
Here, see? Or I don't know. I don't fucking know.
You guys know who Angelica Houston is?
Yeah.
It sounds familiar.
It's
She's Morticia Addams.
Morticia Adams, the famous Morticia Adams.
I knew that name from
Yes, right?
somewhere.
So that's John Huston's daughter, who plays the old grandfather dad.
Oh, okay.
And Jack Nicholson had just started a relationship with her who lasted for many, many years. They were a famous couple for a long time.
Yeah.
So that made many of the scenes with her father, John Huston, very uncomfortable, especially as the only time that Angelica was on set during the day, they were filming the scene where Noah Cross interrogates Nicholson's character with, Mr. Gittes, do you sleep with my daughter? So very weird art bleeding into the real world, or vice versa.
Yeah.
You can imagine the in between takes, like the takes that they didn't use,
Yeah.
or whatever, or like in between them, like, yeah, you did sleep with my daughter, didn't you?
Yeah, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
I just sleep with my daughter. Wait, are the cameras rolling?
Yes.
Also, the writer, there's a lot of good trivia on this. The writer, Robert Towne, he was originally offered $250,000. Not $250,000, $125,000 to write a screenplay for The Great Gatsby. But he said, I couldn't do it better than F. Scott Fitzgerald. So instead, he decided to write his own story, Chinatown, and got paid $25,000 for it.
Wow.
Yeah. The famous scene where JJ Gittes is slapping the woman in the face.
Yeah.
My sister, my daughter, my
Yeah.
sister.
So Faye Dunaway was pissed that Jack Nicholson wasn't getting it right because he kept pulling his punches or his slaps. And she's like, you need to fucking hit me. You need to actually slap me. And he felt so bad about it, but he did it. And those were all real slaps.
Really?
That's why they look so real. And
Yeah.
she wanted it, and she got it. And that's the cut. That's the cut that left it in the film.
Fucking slap me.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know he actually struck her. Like, it did look real, so I guess it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That reveal was so well done, because she kept saying, "My sister, my daughter, my sister, my daughter," and I was in the moment. I was thinking, this must be a really big secret that she's keeping about this case that he's working.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out she was, the victim of rape from her father.
Yeah.
But was she though? Because he says he asked her. He's like, did he rape you? And then she says no,
Right.
implying that maybe it
It
was
was consensual.
consensual.
Clearly, it's not consensual. You can see the strife in her eyes.
It also can't be consensual.
Yes, true.
Why-
That's like saying, oh yeah, well that 13-year-old, she actually consented to it, so
Oh yeah, I forgot that she was a young person.
Yeah,
when
you
she-
can't do that.
Never mind.
and it's incest.
Cut that out.
Feeling good.
God damn it.
Wasn't rape though.
She
I
said,
for-
really? She was asking for it.
I forgot that she had her sister daughter as a teenager. That went completely over my head. All right, never mind. Yeah, that wasn't good. That wasn't good. I'm so sorry. You sure about that?
All right, more trivia. So the first dailies got basically given to Roman Polanski. He was pissed because when The Godfather had just blown up, 1972, just prior to this. So the producer, Robert Evans, ordered the lab to give it like a red hue to it. So they wanted to make it more of like a rosy sort of a look. And Polanski's like, this is fucking wrong. Redo it. Which it kind of has like a muted, like almost like a sepia look to it.
Kinda.
It's not overtly sepia, but it's definitely desaturated a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of it takes place at like where the sun is at an angle.
Mm-hmm.
It's none of it does it looks like it's really like high
Overhead.
noon or anything, or at night.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that too. I mean,
Just that one at the old lady's house,
yeah,
or the old folks home. That's about it.
yeah.
Oh, there's a couple of ones when he gets his nose cut. It's got
Oh yeah. when they're at the
unnatural
reservoir.
lighting though at the reservoir though.
Yeah.
It's like street lights or something.
Oh, when he's like waiting there,
Yeah.
in the beginning.
No, when he gets his nose cut.
Oh yeah,
Which that guy is Roman Polanski.
yeah, the short guy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hey, you kind of get a little nosy, little kitty cat. You know what we do
Yeah.
with nosy kitty cats, huh?
Yeah,
You want to know? They get cut. See?
Yeah. See?
see?
I like his response when he has to talk about it, and she's like, "What happened? What happened to your nose or whatever?" And I think he's like trying to impart the gravity of the situation he's into her,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I like my nose. I like smelling from it.
Yeah.
I like using it or whatever he says."
Oh, when he's talking to that guy who is not the suspect, but he's like accusing him of like you've been rerouting water.
Yeah.
I think it's him where he's like he says like when I breathe.
Oh yeah, is that hurt? Yeah, only when I breathe.
Yeah.
That's such a cool line. What I really like too is when he grabbed the business cards from the water person, and
that was a great grift too.
Yeah, and that because they're.
I was thinking, why is he grabbing those again? I totally forgot.
Yeah,
and then he just poses as him at the reservoir later.
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name, but he just walks up and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is close to the public," and he just throws out a business card. No asking for an ID, just a business.
That's his
card.
ID.
This is the 30s.
Mulvihill.
Yeah. I mean,
Mulvihill. No, Mulray was the old man, but Mulvihill was the head of the Department of Water and Power.
A lot of moles out there.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was Yelburton. I'm sorry, Yelburton.
There was when he goes to the orange grove.
Yeah,
I thought that was a little weirdly done on his part because he's like, he goes there, he drives through it with his car.
Yeah,
and then the guy's like. They shoot
at him,
and he's like, "Hey!" And then he just immediately drives off, even though he just wants to ask them questions.
I think the fact that he got shot at with no warning, that's the scary part. You're like, oh, if I just got to bounce.
Yeah.
Well, but then the guy walks up to him and they're like, "Stop beating him up. I want to ask him something."
Yeah,
and they're like, "What is it? You're just shooting at me?"
Yeah, really.
Why don't you just fire in the air? Why don't you shoot the car?
Maybe the shot was intentionally missed him.
Maybe
he did that, but
but they fucked his car up though.
And he ran into one of his trees and they kind of tore up their orange grove.
Yeah,
it really crashed that car too. That looked good.
Any symbology there for the oranges and the falling from the trees? I don't know.
Could be, but no one died in that scene.
No, that's true.
Can we talk about James Hong? Not one smile in this whole movie.
Yeah, very young James Hong.
Yeah,
I've never seen him so young. Actually,
I don't think so.
Not one smile.
I think the oldest the youngest I've seen him is Blade Runner, original.
Let's see.
And Big Trouble in Little China. Although he is covered in makeup, so
yeah,
it's hard to tell.
Let's see what his first credit was. So this was 74, and his first credit goes way back.
1937.
Way back. Still scrolling.
Man, this guy.
Still scrolling. I'm in the 50s now. Still
scrolling. Immortal.
Man's immortal.
1953. Dragonfly Squadron, uncredited.
Dragonfly Squadron.
Yeah, and his first credited role was 1955, TV Reader's Digest, Judge number 4.
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
Cool.
You guys want to can we do a closest to the pin on how many credits are in James Hong's filmography?
Since 1953, right?
Yeah, 53. So just throw a number out there, closest to the number. It doesn't have to be high or low.
53.
53 credits?
Yeah.
You think, okay.
280.
Jesus.
463.
I was way off.
I know, 53. I was like, that's like Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's one thing.
That's like leading man shit. He's a background character in everything, so he can just be a one day role and shit.
God damn, over 400?
He has 53 within the last 10 years.
Jeez. All right, well. I was off base with that. The whole saltwater thing was really awesome because just like the way that Jake emotes when he he's just walking away. He's like, saltwater bad for glass. And then he's stops in his tracks and he's like,
wait a minute.
What did you just say? But it feels like it's done so naturally. It doesn't feel deliberate. It just feels clicked in his head.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciated that the realness of Jake throughout this whole movie. He wasn't, he was badass, he was suave and cool, but in a way where it was believable rather than it felt Hollywoodish.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Got some more trivia here.
Yeah.
So there was originally in the script there was supposed to have narration over the movie.
Whoa,
like a noir movie.
Yeah, like a classic noir, and that was cut. Polanski said, "Nah, it makes it feel too old." In the two Jakes, there's a lot of narration. Yeah, a lot of narration.
Okay.
And supposedly there was supposed to be a trilogy. The third one never materialized, but it was going to be
the three Jakes.
Yeah, it was going to be
Jakes.
Robert Town.
3 Jakes later.
Robert Town and Bob Evans were all going to be on board for a trilogy, but it just didn't happen.
Jake cubed.
3 Jakes, the Bone Temple.
To emphasize that the audience is seeing everything from Gittes' perspective, Polanski often put the camera behind Jack Nicholson so the audience sees his back and shoulders in frame. And there is no scene where Gittes is not there. There are shots where he's not in frame, but he's always a part of
every scene.
Every scene, he's in every scene. Yeah, because it's
I
supposed
didn't
to be,
even think about
supposed to be
that.
100% from the perspective of
Jake.
of the detective. Yeah, which is basically true to the tradition of Raymond Chandler detective stories. Who Raymond Chandler is the writer of all of those classic noirs. He did Double Indemnity, Murder My Sweet, The Big Sleep, Strangers on a Train. Those were all novels that he had written, and then they were adapted into movies. So he's the godfather of like the classic detective stories. And he died in 1959. He was 1888 born.
Damn.
So these are like old school stories.
1888.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
So that was very important to Polanski that he shoot it from Gittes' perspective because that's how the books are basically written.
Yeah.
Where was it here? Saw another interesting one here. John Huston's mispronunciation of Gittes' last name wasn't in the script.
Gittes.
He calls him Gittes.
Yeah.
John Huston, he just couldn't get it right. So Polanski and Jack Nicholson just added a line trying to correct him, and then they let it go after that. Yeah. It's Gittes. Never mind. And then forever it was Gittes. Mr. Gittes.
I actually really like that line because a lot of people get my last name wrong.
Yeah.
And
I
so
can see that.
when I was a little bit more timid and younger, I wouldn't
Tyler
correct
Noe.
Yeah. Or Noah. I don't know where you get that, but back when I was more timid, I wouldn't correct people, but now I do, and I feel like Gittes, like kind of just like it's Noe, and everyone's like, oh, sorry.
Is that how you say it? It's Noe.
It's Noe to you, punk.
That's Mr. Noe to you.
Well, it always catches people off guard because they'll say Tyler Noe, and I'll be like, it's Noe, and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm just like, it's
yeah,
such
you are, aren't you?
It's such a weird power trip that I get off correcting people on my last name. And so when I watch that scene, because Jack Nicholson does it kind of like the same way that I do it to other people. I mean,
It's basically you.
I'm basically Gittes.
Yeah.
This movie's literally made.
Forget a Jake, it's Chinatown, number 74 on the most memorable quotes from AFI.
It's interesting that the movie is called Chinatown and they reference Chinatown a lot in the movie, but most of it takes place outside of Chinatown. It doesn't really play a role in the movie, but there's like a layer underneath that.
A lot of Chinese people like working around, and also the China his experience in Chinatown like colored his experiences now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I like trying to find the connection there between that Chinatown, his history of working in Chinatown, and why is it so significant to be the title of the movie and such an important part of the character.
The quote itself is supposed to be like almost a shorthand for just saying you got screwed and there's no making sense of it and there's nothing you can do about it. Just forget it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like in Chinatown, nothing makes sense. You're trying to make sense of something that is nonsensical. And just like that real life beat police officer that the Robert Town was talking to, it's like we try to do as little as possible because we don't even know if we're fucking doing good or bad in there.
That's actually a really great point because I can see that connection too because they reference that nothing made sense in Chinatown, and the case, although you can make sense of it, it also doesn't make sense, this pursuit in profit at the expense of the population in which you reside in.
You have something you were going to say, Joseph?
No, I guess, that makes sense with the ending.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Well,
it happened here in Chinatown where nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
And then it ends with sort of unanswered, unsolved.
And there's nothing you can do about it either.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay. It's almost like the end of Burn After Reading.
Yeah.
What did we learn, sir? Not to do it again, I guess. Whatever it was we did.
Yeah.
I guess. Fucking close the book.
Yeah.
I do like how the ending wasn't resolved though.
I did like it too. I like the sadness, the bleakness of it. Because it's like that kind of grounded in this sort of already kind of grounded movie. Because the case is very like the water and they're in a desert and then
Yeah.
it's like very realistic.
Yeah, the case of the scope was it was bigger than
It sucks though that
Gittes.
she both her parents are dead now. Well, her adopted dad and her real mom are dead. And now she has to deal with her adopted dad, grandpa, her
Yeah.
real dad, grandpa. And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
sucks. Plays a pretty big part in the two Jakes too.
Oh, she does.
Oh, she comes back.
The daughter, yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Do you guys want to take a guess of any of the other top 100 most quotable lines in history? I have the list up.
Within the movie.
100. No, it's 100 movie most 100 years, 100 most iconic movie quotes from AFI.
Okay.
go.
Star Wars.
No, name the quote. The quote. Give it the quote.
I am your father.
No, comma. I am your father. Okay, Joseph. what
I
about
didn't know
you?
I had to say the comma.
That's fine. That's fine.
Jaws, we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Okay, let's see who got closer.
Get to the chopper.
Okay, so Godfather. No, I am your father. Not on the list.
Really?
What?
Not on the list. Yep.
It's something from Star Wars on
And then let's see. Boat.
That's an outrage.
You're gonna need a bigger boat. Number 35.
Sweet. Really? Star Wars not on the list?
Let me look. May the Force be with you. That's number 8.
Oh,
That is the only Star Wars.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You would think so.
Heather says, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn."
Oh, that's got to be on there.
That has to be on there. Jeez.
That is number 1.
That's number 1.
Very good, Heather.
There's 100 of these.
There's 100 of them. You want to take another guess at them?
Jeez.
Perfect.
I hate it because I feel like I'm on the spot, so now I can't. I know movie quotes, and now I'm just like, what's
We're
a
going
movie?
back to the future.
I was going to say, where are we going? We don't need roads. Might be one.
Where are we going? Don't need roads.
Need roads.
Rosebud.
Rosebud, maybe.
Yeah,
Let's see.
Rosebud.
Roads. I spelled that wrong.
I don't know if it's iconic. I mean, it is iconic, I
Yeah,
guess.
it is.
It's more of a word than a quote, though. Where we're going, don't need roads is not on there.
That's stupid.
Back to the Future, also not on there.
Oh,
Rosebud. Yep, that's number 17.
nice.
Okay.
Good job. Tyler, you got another guess?
I don't.
Let's get to the chopper on there.
Let's get to the chopper.
No chopper.
Man, I don't know. I mean, is there one from Chinatown?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown,
Oh,
number
okay.
74. Here, I'll do the top 10.
Okay.
I'll make an offer you can't refuse.
That's number 2. Yeah.
Sweet.
You don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody instead of a bum, which is what I am.
Huh.
That's on the waterfront. Marlon
You're
Brando.
tearing me apart, Lisa.
Toto, I've got a feeling we were not in Kansas anymore.
Okay.
Here's looking at you, kid. Casablanca. Go ahead, make my day, Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
Actually, that's from Sudden Impact. All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up. Sunset Boulevard.
It truly was a Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, it might be on there.
It truly
May the
was.
Force be with you. Number 8, Fasten Your Seatbelts is going to be a bumpy ride, all about Eve. And You Talking to Me, Taxi Driver.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Anyways,
that list sucks, but
that list sucks.
What should be on there?
I don't know. Something.
To Infinity and Beyond.
The Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah. How about
Yeah.
no? When he
Yeah.
says start casting the fire, and the guy says no.
Also,
Yeah. No.
Caesar from Planet of the Apes. No.
Yeah. See, very multi-purpose quote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Darth Vader. No.
No.
Revenge of the Sith.
John Huston, they offered him to direct the movie, but he decided not to.
Why?
This-
Does it say
this-
why or?
Chinatown.
Was he a director before?
I believe so. I believe he's a pretty famous director.
Oh, I never heard of him.
Let's. All right, let's see what some of his top hits.
Was he born in 1888?
No, he was born. Let's see, what year was John Huston? 1906.
Oh, he's close.
1906.
Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, he directed the Maltese Falcon.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
I knew it was somebody famous, but I don't know. Treasure of the Sierra Madre, Key Largo, We Were Strangers, The African Queen, Moulin Rouge, the original.
African Queen. Never heard of that.
Yeah, Moby Dick. Freud.
Hmm.
Night of the Iguana. Oh, Night of the Iguana. Okay, cool.
Oh, nice.
The original Casino Royale. Fat City. I've heard that's actually really good.
Fat City.
Fat City.
Bad
Yeah.
City.
The Man Who Would Be King. Annie.
The musical?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he directed that one with the redhead.
wow.
With the redhead.
Yeah, that one. All right, anyways, I got nothing else to say about this movie. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't feel like a 2-hour runtime. Like it just has a very great pacing and yeah. Sorry, I thought the door opened for some reason.
Nah.
I just really love this movie. I'm glad I watched it, and I will be watching it again. Not anytime soon, but there's rewatchability for sure.
Okay, cool. So what's next? We have to give our picks, right?
We have to grade this movie.
Oh yeah, we had to grade the movie too. Forgot.
Mhm.
Tyler.
A plus.
Oh, well. Okay. It's your episode, but
Well, he directed me. He said Tyler. Like
I was
well,
throwing
yeah.
to you, but that's
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's grade this movie then. A plus for me. We already know.
Whoa. Feeling good.
Joseph, what would what would you grade Chinatown?
yeah, like an A plus, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You say A plus, Tyler?
Yeah.
Well, that makes 3. That's an A plus for sure.
It's a triple A plus movie.
Yeah. A plus.
It's unfortunate that Roman Polanski had to be such a piece of shit.
This is before the rape, though.
Pre POS.
Yeah.
That's
Before we knew.
If he was still learning about it.
I don't know.
He took a little too much from the story.
I mean,
He's like, that's not a bad idea.
it's kind of like a case of like separating the art from the artist, because he did Rosemary's Baby, which was a really good film as well. So
Also about a baby.
Has he directed anything? No, he did The Pianist,
yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
which was it's crazy to think that I don't know. It's,
Yeah.
it is.
It is. It's crazy.
It is.
It's all crazy.
It makes no sense. Much like Chinatown.
Um,
Whatever state.
His whole life is Chinatown.
His whole life is Chinatown.
It's all there. All right. So 3 AAAs. Now we have to me and Joseph give our detective movies, because we're gonna do Joseph's next, and then we're doing mine. So Joseph, have you picked one?
Yes, I did. Let me find out.
Let me
if
find
it's
it.
streaming anywhere. Before I do that, because I remember I picked one that wasn't streaming for Car Chase.
Oh yeah, you're right. That was called The Highway, right? Or The Driver.
Yeah, The Driver.
Mhm.
Wasn't, you can't even rent it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to ask Adam.
Yeah. Maybe I'll watch it someday, but I can never find it. So I'm gonna pick a older movie from 1949,
Oh.
directed by Orson Welles,
Oh,
I believe.
Third Man?
No, sorry, not directed by, starring Orson Welles, directed by Carol Reed, The Third Man.
Fuck yeah. Can't wait.
Never
I've
heard
heard
of
it's so highly recommended, and I've never watched it. I have it on VHS.
Yeah, streaming on Hoopla, Canopy, IndieFlix, Prime Video. This one called C.
See, huh?
C.
Is it the Criterion?
Yeah.
Cineverse.
Yeah, see?
Cineverse.
All right.
Cineverse. Huh?
The Third Man.
Okay, so that's going to be next week, and it's streaming where?
Hoopla,
Hoopla.
Canopy, IndieFlix, Prime Video.
Okay, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, and for mine, I'm going to go, so we have one from the 70s, one from the 50s. I'm going to do a modern one that I've showered praise upon this movie and talked about on the show many times, and it is a loving homage to all those The Kid Detective. That's my pick.
Yes.
After watching two, if it was my pick, I wouldn't use it for if I picked the detective movies. I don't think it would be appropriate. But we'll have watched two greats, and then we get to watch a modern version, a modern take on that with lots of homage to the greats.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to do the Patreon pick. The patrons get to pick what the week 4 is.
Yeah. So if you want your voice heard, pay us money.
Well, you don't. You don't even have to. You could just be in the Patreon and participating. You don't have to be a cool ass yardie or anything. You could be any level.
That's true.
All patrons can participate in the vote, and that'll be in 3 weeks from today.
Yes.
Cool. That's exciting.
All right. Well,
Why the Third Man, Joseph?
Because I've only seen one Orson Welles movie and I didn't like it, which was Citizen Kane, which is not a detective movie, but
Yeah.
I've never seen any other Orson Welles projects, anything else he's been in or directed. And I've heard The Third Man is great. I like the title for some reason.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're three men.
Yeah, we are. Who's the third one?
Probably
know.
me.
Whoa. Feeling good.
Yeah, that's why. Really, I've heard it's great. That's all I heard.
Cool. All right.
All right, cool.
Okay. Anything else, fellas?
I think that's it.
Okay. We got Heather still in the chat. She says the Cheap Detective is a fun parody film. I'm gonna look that one up.
The Cheap.
She's also a big fan of The Third Man, and says that Raymond Chandler started his writing after he lost his job in the Depression. Yeah, that's
Wow.
interesting. Just became a writer out of the blue, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
I guess-
depressed. I guess I'll start writing.
I mean, I guess all writers just start writing.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyways, okay, cool. So thank you to our cool SCR duties over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather, Michael, and Chris. If you want to support us on the show, you can do so at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass, or you can just share our videos with a friend. We're at 1,100 subscribers now, a little over that on the YouTube, and feels good.
Feels good.
Yeah, maybe we'll, I don't know, maybe we'll do something when we get to 2,000 or something like that. I don't know.
Super trivia.
Yeah, there we go.
Whoa. Feeling good.
But anyways, until next time. Oops, that's not the right one. There it is. All right, thank you for joining us as we review Chinatown, Roman Polanski's masterpiece from 1974. Follow us next week as we review The Third Man, streaming on a bunch of places. If you haven't watched it already, please watch it so next week we can be on the same page. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class.
And on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class, and on Twitter at Podcast MCFC.
All right, thanks everybody for listening. We will see you next week.
See you next time.
See ya.
Someone who I look up to, Roman Polanski.
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later. See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.